अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। हरि ओम्। तव कथामृतं तप्तजीवनं कविभिरीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवणमङ्गलं श्रीमदाततं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भूरिदा जनाः। ओम नमो भगवते श्री रामकृष्णाय। Readings and reflections on the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. First readings. The Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, page 106. One must have faith and love. Let me tell you how powerful faith is. A man was about to cross the sea from Ceylon to India. Vimokshananda said to him, "Tie this thing in a corner of your wearing cloth and you will cross the sea safely. You will be able to walk on the water, but be sure not to examine it or you will sink." The man was walking easily on the water of the sea. Such is the strength of faith. When, having gone part of the way, he thought, "What is this wonderful thing Vimokshananda has given me that I can walk even on the water?" He untied the knot and found only a leaf with the name of Rama written on it. "Oh, just this," he thought, and instantly he sank. There is a popular saying that Hanuman jumped over the sea through his faith in Rama's name, but Rama himself had to build a bridge. If a man has faith in God, then he need not be afraid, though he may have committed sin, nay, the vilest sin. Then Sri Ramakrishna sang a song glorifying the power of faith. "If only I can pass away repeating Durga's name, how canst thou then, O Blessed One, withhold from me deliverance, wretched though I may be?" The Master continued, "Faith and devotion. One realizes God easily through devotion. He is grasped through ecstasy of love." With these words, the Master sang again, "How are you trying, O my mind, to know the nature of God? You are groping like a madman locked in a dark room. He is grasped through ecstatic love. How can you fathom him without it? Only through affirmation, never negation, can you know him. Neither through Veda, nor through Tantra, nor the 6 darshanas. It is in love's elixir only that he delights. O mind, he dwells in the body's inmost depths in everlasting joy. And for that love, the mighty yogis practice yoga from age to age. When love awakes, the Lord, like a magnet, draws to him the soul. He it is, says Ramprasad, that I approach as mother. But must I give away the secret here in the marketplace? From the hints I have given, O mind, guess what that being is." While singing, the Master went into Samadhi. He was seated on the bench, facing west, the palms of his hands joined together, his body erect and motionless. Everyone watched him expectantly. Vidyasagar too was speechless and could not take his eyes from the Master. After a time, Sri Ramakrishna showed signs of regaining the normal state. He drew a deep breath and said with a smile, "The means of realizing God are ecstasy of love and devotion. That is, one must love God. He who is Brahman is addressed as the mother. He it is, says Ramprasad, that I approach as mother. But must I give away the secret here in the marketplace? From the hints I have given, O mind, Guess what that being is? Ramprasad asks the mind only to guess the nature of God. He wishes it to understand that what is called Brahman in the Vedas is addressed by him as the mother. He who is attributeless also has attributes. He who is Brahman is also Shakti. When thought of as inactive, he is called Brahman, and when thought of as a creator, preserver and destroyer, he is called the primordial energy, Kali. Brahman and Shakti are identical, like fire and its power to burn. When we talk of fire, we automatically mean also its power to burn. Again, the fire's power to burn implies the fire itself. If you accept the one, you must accept the other. Brahman alone is addressed as the mother. This is because a mother is an object of great love. One is able to realize God just through love, ecstasy of feeling, devotion, love and faith. These are the means. Listen to a song. As is a man's meditation, so is his feeling of love. As is a man's feeling of love, so is his gain. And faith is the root of all. If in the nectar lake of Mother Kali's feet, my mind remains immersed, of little use or worship, oblations or sacrifice. What is needed is absorption in God, loving Him intensely. The nectar lake is a lake of immortality. A man sinking in it does not die, but becomes immortal. Some people believe that by thinking of God too much, the mind becomes deranged, but that is not true. God is like a lake of nectar, the ocean of immortality. He is called the immortal in the Vedas. Sinking in it, one does not die, but verily transcends death. Of little use are worship, oblations or sacrifice. If a man comes to love God, he need not trouble himself much about these activities. One needs a fan only as long as there is no breeze. The fan may be laid aside if the southern breeze blows. Then what need is there of a fan? To Vidyasagar. The activities that you are engaged in are good. It is very good if you can perform them in a selfless spirit, renouncing egotism, giving up the idea that you are the doer. Through such action, one develops love and devotion to God and ultimately realizes Him. The more you come to love God, the less you will be inclined to perform action. When the daughter-in-law is with child, her mother-in-law gives her less work to do. As time goes by, she is given less and less work. When the time of delivery nears, she is not allowed to do any work at all, lest it should hurt the child or cause difficulty at the time of birth. By these philanthropic activities, you are really doing good to yourself. If you can do them disinterestedly, your mind will become pure and you will develop love of God. As soon as you have that love, you will realize Him. Man cannot really help the world. God alone does that. He who has created the sun and the moon, who has put love for their children in parents' hearts, endowed noble souls with compassion and holy men and devotees with a divine love. The man who works for others without any selfish motive really does good to himself. There is gold buried in your heart, but you are not yet aware of it. It is covered with a thin layer of clay. Once you are aware of it, all these activities of yours will lessen. After the birth of her child, the daughter-in-law in the family busies herself with it alone. Everything she does is only for the child. Her mother-in-law doesn't let her do any household duties. Go forward. A woodcutter once entered a forest to gather wood. A brahmachari said to him, "Go forward." He obeyed the injunction and discovered some sandalwood trees. After a few days, he reflected, "The holy man asked me to go forward. He didn't tell me to stop here." So he went forward and found a silver mine. After a few days, he went still farther and discovered a gold mine, and next mines of diamonds and precious stones. With these, he became immensely rich. Through selfless work, love of God grows in the heart. Then, through His grace, one realizes Him in course of time. God can be seen, one can talk to Him as I am talking to you. In silent wonder, they all sat listening to the Master's words. It seemed to them that the goddess of wisdom herself, seated on Sri Ramakrishna's tongue, was addressing these words not merely to Vidyasagar, but to all humanity for its good. It was nearly 9 o'clock in the evening. The Master was about to leave. Master, to Vidyasagar with a smile, "The words I have spoken are really superfluous. You know all this. You are simply aren't conscious of it. There are countless gems in the coffers of Varuna, but he himself isn't aware of them." Vidyasagar with a smile, "You may say as you like." Master smiling, "Oh yes, there are many wealthy people who don't know the names of all their servants and are even unaware of many of the precious things in their houses." All laugh. Everybody was delighted with the Master's conversation. Again addressing Vidyasagar, he said with a smile, "Please visit the temple garden sometime. I mean the garden of Rashmani. It is a charming place." Vidyasagar, "Oh, of course I shall go. You have so kindly come here to see me, and shall I not return your visit?" Master, "Visit me? Oh, never think of such a thing." Vidyasagar, "Why, sir? Why do you say that? May I ask you to explain?" Master smiling, "You see, we are all like small fishing boats." All smile. "We can ply in small canals and shallow waters and also in big rivers. But you are a ship. You may run aground on the way." All laugh. Vidyasagar remained silent. Sri Ramakrishna said with a laugh, "But even a ship can go there at this season." Vidyasagar smiling, "Yes, this is the monsoon season." All laugh. M said to himself, "This is indeed the monsoon season of newly awakened love. At such times, one doesn't care for prestige or formalities." Sri Ramakrishna then took leave of Vidyasagar, who with his friends escorted the Master to the main gate, leading the way with a lighted candle in his hand. Before leaving the room, the Master prayed for the family's welfare, going into an ecstatic mood as he did so. As soon as the Master and the devotees reached the gate, they saw an unexpected sight and stood still. In front of them was a bearded gentleman of fair complexion, aged about 36. He wore his clothes like a Bengali, but on his head was a white turban tied after the fashion of the Sikhs. No sooner did he see the Master than he fell prostrate before him, turban and all. When he stood up, the Master said, "Who is this? Balaram? Why so late in the evening?" Balaram, "I have been waiting here a long time, sir." Master, "Why didn't you come in?" Balaram, "All were listening to you. I didn't like to disturb you." The Master got into the carriage with his companions. Vidyasagar to him softly, Shall I pay the carriage hire? M. Oh, don't bother, please. It is taken care of. Vidyasagar and his friends bowed to Sri Ramakrishna and the carriage started for Dakshineswar. But the little group with the Venerable Vidyasagar at their head holding the lighted candle stood at the gate and gazed after the master until he was out of sight. So we completed the chapter 3, a beautiful chapter, particularly Sri Ramakrishna's meeting with Sri Vidyasagar. As we all know, Vidyasagar was a great philanthropist and he has earned a great name not only in Bengal but all over India. As a great philanthropist and also for his vast learning, he possessed such a scholarship and the title was given to him by the society as Vidyasagar, a ocean of knowledge. Very rarely you find people with such vast knowledge. And he had read Sanskrit so well. He has read all the Puranas, all the Upanishads, and I should say all the Vedas. And he was master in these things. Yet, in his personality, there was one flaw, if I can term it as flaw. He was great man of erudition and read a lot of scriptures, yet he lacked the feeling of love for God. He even used to criticize the people who believe in God. That means he was agnostic. He was not a believer in God. He used to make fun to people. Once he made fun to Sri M, that is Master Mahashai, who used to go to him. And he said, you are saying that your Guru is avatar. Sri Ramakrishna is an avatar. You say that. Ask him this question. Then M told him what to ask him. He said, you see, when Genghis Khan came into India and he invaded this country, he caught hold of 100,000 soldiers and all the soldiers were Hindus. 100,000 Hindu soldiers, he caught them and arrested them. And one day, Genghis Khan's commander went to him and said, "O king, 100,000 people we are feeding 3 times a day and so much of treasury is getting emptied because of feeding them. Is there any solution?" Genghis Khan nonchalantly ordered that commander, kill all these soldiers so that our expenditure is saved. And 100,000 soldiers were killed. So Vidyasagar repeated this history event and asked him, what was your God doing at that time? Was he sleeping? He put it in a very, the jocular way. Was he sleeping? God doesn't sleep at all. One small child asked me in South Africa, does God sleep any time? I said, if he sleeps, the whole world will come down. So the world will not function. He is always awake. So God cannot sleep. So was he sleeping? That was very funnily he put this question. So with all such erudition, that vast scholarship, what he was lacking was that the diamonds and gold that was lying within his heart, he was not aware of it. So Sri Ramakrishna makes fun of it at the end of his meeting, that how, hey Vidyasagar, your mine of gold is lying within you and you are not aware of it. If you are aware of it, what will come? The love for God will germinate in you. And that love is what lacking. So again and again, after talking about scholarship, and mere scholarship will not lead you anywhere, etc., he told him the last time when we were reading, we saw that God cannot be realized through mere scholarship or reasoning. You may reason 100 times or 100 types of arguments you can bring about God. Still, you cannot realize God. Because God is not realizable through arguments, through your intellectual reasoning. No. That's why in the Arati song, the evening Arati song, which Swami Vivekananda wrote for Sri Krishna, he says, Namo Namo Prabhu, Vakya Manatita. Vakya Mana Atita. He is beyond Vakya, the sentences, and Mana, the thinking mind. He is beyond the thinking. And he is a Jyoti. So Jyoti means to indicate that it removes the ignorance. The darkness of ignorance is removed by the Jyoti, the light. So he is beyond this reasoning. So how can you approach him through reasoning? The reasoning fails. So then what can take us to God? If the reasoning fails, then the love for God must come. Do we have in our heart the love of God? You know, when, as the last time, Sri Ramakrishna has told about Chaitanya Deva. Chaitanya Deva went to South India, and in one of the places, perhaps it is in Andhra Pradesh, he saw some Pandit was explaining the Gita, and one very ordinary man was sitting in the audience, and he was only shedding tears. So Chaitanya Deva asked him, so why you are shedding tears? What is that moving you? He said, I don't understand a single word of this Pandit. He's only talking big things about God. I am closing my eyes, and since Pandit is talking about Gita, I can imagine there is a chariot in front of me, and in the chariot Arjuna is sitting completely losing his faith. He is sitting, his face is showing that what he has lost, and Sri Krishna is standing there and giving upadesha to him. That is enough for me. So he was full of love of God. So in our actions also, when we sit and close our eyes, are we able to vividly imagine that God is sitting in front of me, and slowly he is slowly entering into our heart and taking his place in our heart? So we say, Hridaya Kamala Madhye Rajitam Nirvikalpam. That is the verse that we recite when we do Manasa Puja. You know, we do ritualistic puja also. You know, with all the upakaranas, you know, all the instruments, we do ritualistic puja. But after some time, at the center of the puja, we stop all those things and take a flower and put it in our head, over the head, and close our eyes. Put your two palms together on your shoulder, on your lap, and then do this Manasa Puja. Hridaya Kamala Madhye Rajitam. And Rajita means he is reigning. He is sitting inside in the lotus of my heart. That is the core of the puja. Without that Manasa Puja, if you do the entire puja, it has got no meaning. So every aspirant, when he performs the puja, he is supposed to get this core puja so that he understands that God is present in his heart. At that time only, the love can emerge. If there is no love towards God, what is the matter? He says it is no use. So mother cannot be realized by means of mere scholarship. Again and again, Sri Ramakrishna emphasizes to Vidyasagar, because he and his surrounding people, they were all very interested in scholarship only. So he said how the faith and love and the devotion can take you to the higher levels of consciousness. He is explaining that small story from Ramayana. In Ramayana, as such in Ramayana, say Valmiki Ramayana, we do not get this particular incident. But this Ramayana summary, in India we have got 56 kinds of Ramayanas. So every language has got its own Ramayana. So some incidents are somewhere. So somewhere Sri Ramakrishna must have heard from the sadhus who are coming, in Kamarpukur, this young boy, the Gadadhar, used to go and sit with the sadhus. Lot of sadhus used to pass through Kamarpukur, and there is a place where they would come and sit, and the Lala of that house, of the village, used to feed them. So Ramakrishna, there's a Gadai, as a small boy, used to go and sit with them and listen to them lot of stories. And he imbibed many stories. It must be one of the stories. Because in Valmiki Ramana we don't find this. What is the story is, one fellow went to Vibhishna, that is after Ravan's killing and Ram's coming back, and Vibhishna became the king. So Vibhishna was the king. One citizen went to him and said, I want to cross the ocean and go to India, that Bharat. So I want to go, but I don't have money to pay for the ferry. How do I walk? He said, you can't walk on the water. So Vibhishna said, don't worry, I will give you small chit and put it in your, bind it with in your hip, and then you start walking on the water. So this fellow took the chit and kept it on his hip, and then he started walking, and and he was walking on the water. He didn't know what it is, but he had such implicit faith on Vibhishna's words. Vibhishna is a king, and king is giving him a paper, and you tie it in your hip and then walk, and he is walking, and he is able to walk, and mid of the ocean, he suddenly thought, what is written there? What magic is there? Let me open it and see. And he took it. You see, there the faith is lost. So when he took it and saw, it is written simply Ram. That's all. One word is written Ram. This is only Ram is written. This only word is written. Like that he thought. Immediately he sank into the ocean. So the faith is gone. So he says the faith can. That's why he very jokingly puts, Hanuman could jump over the ocean on the faith of name of Ram, while Rama himself could not jump. He has to put a bridge and then walk through the bridge. How funny it is. And very funnily he says, if a man has faith in God, he need not be afraid, though he may have committed sin, nay the vilest sin. You see, here only religion comes compared to all tops, all sorts of philosophies that cannot stand you when you are in need of. Vilest sin, he says, the most horrible sin you have committed, even then you have a path for redemption. The redemption is assured in Bhakti Yoga. So when you have a love for God, you don't worry about what past sins you have. In one instance, Sri Ramakrishna was sitting in his room, Dakshineswar. Even if you go today, you can see that Ramakrishna's room. People all go there after worshipping Mother Kali and the 12 Shivalingas. You have to go to Ramakrishna's room and quietly sit there. And you will find constantly, so long the temple is open, people are coming into the room, sitting there and meditating and going out. So you can sit for 5 minutes or 50 minutes, doesn't matter. And it's quiet atmosphere. And you can actually feel the presence of Sri Ramakrishna sitting in the small cot, and as if he is looking at you. You can see there, you feel the presence. And once he was talking like that, from his place, he could see the door of the room. And beyond the door, one man was standing there. And for a long time he is standing. Ramakrishna watched him. And after the devotees all got up and went away for the evening arati to the Mother Kali, Ramakrishna stood up in his room. And he came out. He saw that man was still standing there. So he went nearest to him and he asked, hey, what is the matter? Why you didn't come inside and sit? And you're standing outside for long. He said, sir, I cannot come near you. So why? Because I have done the vilest sin. How can I come near you? You are the purest of the pure. How can I come near you? Sri Ramakrishna put his hand on his shoulder and he said, tell with me. He asked him to repeat. What he asked him, I am son of Mother Durga. Durga is purity herself. Pavitrata Swarupinyai. That's what Abhedananji says about Holy Mother. She is not Pavitrata. She is not Pavitra. She is pure. You telling that she is pure is one thing. But Abhedananji goes a step forward and he says, not only she is pure, Pavitrata Swarupina, Swarupine. That means she is a personification of purity. If purity has to be personified, and that is Mother Sarada, he says. So Ramakrishna tells this man, tell you are the son of Mother Durga, who is personified purity. How can you be impure? Say Mother's name, Durga, Durga, Durga. and you become pure. We all teach our children, particularly this one particular aspect of telling the children in their homes, in Bengal, is very much liked by me. I learned this. When I went to Bengal, I saw that. They tell the children, whenever they go out, they will say Durga, Durga. Not Tata, bye-bye. The Tata, bye-bye is gone. And they say Durga, Durga. So in South Africa, I taught all the children Durga, Durga. When the class is over, you take leave of us, then you say Durga, Durga. So all the people, even the elders say Durga, Durga. Even in a mail, when they write to me from South Africa, at the end they say Durga, Durga. That means bye-bye. So that's a beautiful way of addressing, people, that Durga, Durga I say. So even here, when people go out, I say Durga, Durga, because that's the custom. In mission tradition, all the elder Swamis I have seen. When we go and make pranam, Maharaj, now today I have to take leave, so I am going. So I go and do pranam to him. Then he will say Durga, Durga. So I have seen that. So, taking the name of God. So he said, and that man was stunned. He said, is it so? He said, yes. All your sins are washed out. And take a resolution today that from this moment you will not indulge in any more sin. So whatever sin you have done, over. That's over. Now you have now taken as a son of Mother Durga, you will have no sin will touch you. And you will not indulge in any sin. So he says that is great faith. So if the faith is there, it can bring the devotion. Faith and devotion. Faith and devotion. My master repeats. He says, one realizes God easily through devotion. And he quotes one Ramakrishna song. It is such a beautiful song. And Ramakrishna says, here in the marketplace, I will not give away the secret. Bazare hadi bhanga bole eta vachana bhanga hate bazare hadi bhanga bole eta. So you don't open the secret in a marketplace. If anything secret is there, you don't tell it to outsiders. So Ramakrishna says, I am not going to give you the secret, but all the hints he has given. I am talking about my mother, because my mother Kali's devotee, Ramakrishna. So he says, from the hints I have given, O mind, he is telling his mind, not to anybody else. He is telling, O mind, guess what that being is. He is talking about Mother Durga. And he says, O my mind, to know the nature of God. How are you trying to know the nature of God? By reading books. He is asking his own mind, O mind, you are trying to know the nature of God. How? By reading books? By scholarship? No. You are groping like a madman locked in the dark room. It is no light at all. In the dark room you are there and you are groping like a madman, because madman doesn't know what to catch. He doesn't have any ideal before him. He doesn't have anything to know what he wants to search for. But he is groping in the dark room. Sometimes we make fun of the what is philosophy. In the philosophy lectures they say, the philosophy is searching for a black cat in a dark room where it is not there. So you go on searching for something. What is that searching? Searching. If you are searching for God, then you may get it. But without knowing what you are searching for, and you are only making assumptions and after assumptions and creating lot of philosophical journals, philosophical writings, has got no meaning. So it is like a searching for a black cat in a dark room where it is not there. So like that they make fun. So he is telling his friend, he is grasping. Have you grasped through ecstatic love? How can you fathom him without it? You see, all these paragraphs earlier, Ram Prasad is addressing as him. So as a father. But the last line only he says, he talks about mother, his mother Kali. Only through affirmation, never negation, can you know him. He says, Neti, Neti is a Jnana Marga. Ramakrishna says, in Vedas, Vedanta also we speak about the way of Neti, Neti. Na iti is called Neti. Neti means not this, not this, not this. In one of the Christ teachings also it comes that Neti, Neti. He says not this, not this. So twice he says, not this. So neti, neti. In Vedanta also we repeat that. Not this, not this. Whether is my mind is ultimate? No. My words? No. My thinking? No. Like that you say. Is this world is real? No. So neti. So you go on negative. But say by negative what you can do? You cannot say. Rather by affirming iti, iti. Yes, this is God. This is God. My relations are God. My children are God. My house is God. Everything is godly transformed. Everything is transformed into God. So that iti, with the affirmation only you can know. It is in love's elixir only that he delights, O mind. He dwells, where does he dwell? In the body's inmost depths in everlasting joy. We are searching for God everywhere. Antar bahischa tassarvam vyapya narayana stitaha. Where is Narayana? In Narayana Suktam it comes that antar bahischa, inside, outside, tat sarvam vyapya, everything, permeating everything, Narayana stitaha. If you ask any common man, where is Narayana? He will say Narayana lives in Vaikuntha. He stays in Vaikuntha. Yes, that is true. He stays in Vaikuntha. But not only Bahar, that is Bahya, Antar, inside. So Narayana is inside also. That is what he says. He dwells in the body's inmost depths. It is not merely depth that we think that our heart. It is inmost depths. After that, there is no other position that you can go into. And for that love, the mighty yogis practice yoga from age to age. You see how the yogis practice. When love awakes, the Lord, like a magnet, draws to him the soul. So the Lord is like a magnet. And when the love happened, then all the, Sri Ramakrishna says, when you weep for God, when tears flow through your cheeks and then come out, and that time, that all the dirt covering your heart is washed out. At that time, it is where that iron rod is become very, very pure, and the magnet immediately attracts it. So the Lord attracts it. He it is, says Ram Prasad, that I approach as mother. After telling to singing this song, Master went into Samadhi. I know the way that Master goes into Samadhi, muhur, again and again, as Master says, it is a fit scene for our meditation. When we sit for meditation, just close our eyes and imagine how Master went into Samadhi. He was seated on the bench, facing west, the palms of his hand joined together, his body erect and motionless. Everyone watched him expectantly. Vidyasagar, too, was speechless and could not take his eyes from the Master. Such was the Master's position. Nobody could take out his eyes from him. Everybody is looking at the Master, stunned at his Samadhi. What a wonderful scene it is. After a time, Sri Ramakrishna showed signs of regaining the normal state. Then he says, and he is repeating the same words, he it is, says Ram Prasad, that I approach as mother. But must I give away the secret here in the marketplace? From the hints I have given, O mind, guess what that being is. Ram Prasad asks the mind only to guess the nature of God. He wants to know that what is called Brahman in the Vedas is addressed by him as the mother. So Sri Ramakrishna says, when that supreme power is inactive, there is a situation, creation and then preservation and then destruction. Srishti, Sthiti, Vinasha. There are three positions are there. So beyond the three, there is one more state is there when non-creation, that is before creation, a stillness, a actionlessness state is there. So that state he indicates, and that is Brahman. And when it starts creation, preservation and destruction, that is my mother. So that is Shakti. So Shakti and Brahman are only different in their actions, but not substantially. So Shakti and Brahman are identical. Like he gives a beautiful example. How to understand that Shakti and Brahman are identical. In Vedas we hear only about, in Upanishads, we speak about only Brahman, not about Shakti. So where we speak about Brahman, that is ever present, everywhere, omniscient, all those adjectives, we Sat, Sit, Ananda, etc., we speak of that. The same mother, that mother Shakti, Shakti is worshipped as mother, so that Shakti is like fire and the power to burn. That's a very beautiful example he says. In another place he gives the diamond and its dazzling power. Another place he says the milk and its whiteness. How these two cannot be differentiated or separated. Likewise, whatever you say, the Vedantins may call it Brahman and the Shaktas may call it Mother. There is no difference. You should not make any difference. The supreme power is acting as Mother. Brahman alone is addressed as the Mother. This is because a mother is an object of great love. When you think of Brahman, you go into meditation on Brahman. The mind is lost in samadhi and there is no love comes into that. But when my heart is predominant, my emotion is predominant, and I want to worship, I want to love a personality, then that Shakti comes there as mother. Because mother is always, for everyone, an object of love. So what is needed is absorption in God, loving Him intensely. The nectar lake is the lake of immortality. A man sinking in it does not die. So a man becomes immortal. That is what he is called, the immortal in the Vedas. Sinking in it, one does not die, but verily transcends death. When one day Naren was staying in Kashipur, so Ramakrishna is asking Naren, imagine there is a cup. In that cup, nectar is filled, and you are a fly. What you will do? Then Naren says, I will sit on the brim of the cup and I will take the juice of that nectar. Slowly, slowly, I will drink the nectar. Then masters ask him, why? Why don't you jump into the nectar? If I jump into the nectar, I will get drowned. Then Sri Ramakrishna makes fun. Oh Naren, that is the nectar I told you. That is will not take you to the death. Because in nectar, if you get drowned, you attain immortality. You do go beyond the death. So what is the fun in sitting in the brim and then taking only the drops? Go it straight away and jump into the nectar. So that's a beautiful way of expression. If a man comes to love God, he need not trouble himself about these any activities. See, one of the beautiful way of these bhaktas, I tell you, Ramaprasad's songs are so full of teaching to us. In this simple song, he says, some people sit for meditation. Some people do karma yoga, lot of actions. Some people do jnana yoga, jnana path. So he says, as is man's meditation, so is his feeling of love. As is man's feeling of love, so is his gain. And faith is the root of all. If in the nectar lake of Mother Kali's feet, my mind remains immersed, of little use or worship, oblations or sacrifice. All the ritualistic worship we are talking about and we are telling that they are all very important to us, etc., lose all meaning when the love of God comes into your heart. At that time, the rituals are not going to help you. And the ritual will be actually meaningless. Sri Ramakrishna could not do any rituals. After some time when the love of God appeared and he had darshan of Mother Kali, he could not do any rituals. No rituals could touch him. And he says they are all of little use. That means no use at all. No use at all. This is what today in our chat, in our Dublin chat, one gentleman has, one devotee has sent a small message. You all must have read through it. And in that message, he beautifully puts it, I didn't bring that. So, he beautifully puts it, a prayer of Saint Martin. And that prayer, he says, no use of any type of this oblation, sacrifice and work, etc. The prayer itself becomes meditation. So it's a beautiful verse. You have that? Let me read it out. How in whatever religion you follow, when the love of God comes, all the thoughts in different, whether Ram Prasad or whether it is Louis Claude de Saint Martin, is a French saint. So whoever it is. So Ramakrishna used to say, all the jackals have one type of howling, he says. So all the jackals means all the saints in different countries, they all speak in one language. I'll read out that small quotation. The poet utters, the thinker meditates, the righteous acts. 3 yogas already come, you see, the Jnana Yoga and Bhakti Yoga and Karma Yoga. But they who stand upon the borders of the divine world praise. And that prayer is word, thought, action, all in one. Yes, prayer includes all, contains all. The universe belongs to those who will, who know, who pray. Here prayer means, I think the context we must understand that with your love of God, that you approach God. That is called prayer. In Christianity, prayer is very important. And that prayer is not merely asking something. Generally, we Hindus understand pray means that you ask something, prarthana. You ask, you want to give me, give this, give that. That is not that. In Christianity, saints or mystical saints have explained the prayer in much more deeper sense. It's not merely asking, it is making a connection with God. That you and me are one. In that level, that love comes, then that is called prayer. That's the highest form of prayer. The universe belongs to those who will, who know, who pray. But they must will, must know, must pray. In a way, they must possess strength, wisdom and faith. Fruit of the laborious, progressive, continued development of natural properties and faculties, vitalized anew by the divine breath of the word. So the saint says, prayer has occult activity, it is the final worship. Now, very important sentence. Not the material worship of images, not the spiritual worship of formulas, but the worship of the divine word. It's a beautiful, this one. And exactly that to this, the point that Ram Prasad is saying, see, as a man's meditation, so is his feeling of love. As is man's feeling of love, so is his gain. And faith is the root of all. If in the nectar lake of Mother Kali's feet, my mind remains immersed, of little use or worship, oblations or sacrifice. So some people say that if you are mad after God, that means your mind becomes deranged. You become like a pagal. That's a madman, he says. But he says, no, it cannot be. Because it's an ocean of immortality. He is called the immortal in the Vedas, where it is a mrityu. That mrityu is called mortality. And amritam. Amritam means beyond the mrityu. Amrit. That is called not death. That is called amrit. Amrit means beyond mrityu. So that is immortality. He transcends death, he says. Of little use or worship, oblation, sacrifice. So how the man who has got love of God, he need not trouble himself much about these activities. One needs the fan only as long as there is no breeze. In villages we all see, we take a hand fan and go on fanning ourselves. But then when southern breeze comes, Malaya Marutam, southern breeze comes from the mountains, and it's so cool and it is. At that time you don't need to fan it, you just put down the fan. So he says, then what need of this the fan? So to Vidyasagar, he explained to him, that this is a wonderful way of engaging. You are doing a lot of philanthropic activities. Very good. Do it. But through such action, one develops love and devotion to God and ultimately realizes Him. This is a great thing. And he says that many people who have got such treasures in their heart, they are not aware of it. Like Varuna. Varuna is a great man of treasures. And like Kubera. And he doesn't know how many servants he has got. He doesn't know the names of the servants of him. And he doesn't know the treasures that he has got. So like this, he makes fun of him. And all laugh. And then Vidyasagar, he says, I take leave of you. And Vidyasagar takes, and he says, I am a small, shallow waters. So Vidyasagar says, should I not come and meet you again? I will come and see you again. He says, no, I am shallow waters. How a big ship can come in? You see, even at the end of the meeting, Sri Ramakrishna gives very nicely puns and tells him. But Vidyasagar says, no, it is possible to, a ship can go at some season, he says. Yes, when it is a monsoon season full of waters, shallow place also gets full of water. A ship can go through it. So you can come to. Later Sri Ramakrishna says that Vidyasagar never came to Dakshineshwar and met him. Nor in Kashipur, when he was there recovering from his, getting treatment for his cancer treatment. Vidyasagar never came. And Ramakrishna says, oh, Vidyasagar never came to see me. Though he promised me, he will come and meet me, he says. But then that is what Vidyasagar's constraints, we do not know, but he didn't come. But he says, yes, I will come and meet you, he says. And with that, they come. So with this, third chapter is completed. Om Niranjanam Nityam Anantarupam Bhaktanukampa Drita Vigraham Vai Ishavataram Paramesha Midyam Tam Ramakrishnam Shirasa Namama Hari Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.